Hello lovelies and welcome to the channel. So it is that lovely time between Christmas and New Year's where you don't know what day it is or what the date is or anything like that. But for the most part the silly season is over and we are kind of getting back to normal holiday mode, if that makes sense. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I'm back and hopefully I will have more consistent videos now that we are through Christmas and ready to, hang out and just chill before school goes back next month. Oi. Anyway, this is a video I did a while ago, but I didn't get a chance to post it. Now, I was going through a phase where I was playing with my Dina Wakley gloss sprays and just experimenting lots, and that's what you see me doing here. I'm actually using photo paper because I wanted to see if the gloss sprays would sort of just sort of how they would react on the photo paper. So it's more of a glossy surface. So I have a Picturemate, and if you have a Picturemate, you know that a cartridge when you buy the cartridge and paper together, you get 3 lots of paper, so 150 sheets. And without fail, I only ever go through 100, so I've always got an extra one. So I had plenty of photo paper to spare, so I thought I would make some card fronts and basically just experiment with my gloss sprays. Now, the thing about gloss sprays, they do take some experimenting. You really do have to play with them to really get the most out of them, because when you build on them and layer on them, they start to resist each other, and that's when the fun happens. So you would have noticed that I was playing with a stencil before. That actually ends up being, I'm going to make one full card. After I finish making a couple of backgrounds, I'm going to make a card using some darkroom door things. And yeah, that's the one I do. So I spritzed a little bit of the sand on my background, and then I sprayed through a stencil. And when you do that, where you've got the stencil, where you've left that impression, it's going to leave a resist. And that's what I love about these. It takes a lot of play. You really do need to play with them. Now, here I'm just tipping it on. I'm doing all sorts of random things just to see how they react and respond. And basically just to play. These have been sitting in my stash for a while, and I thought, why not have a play? So that's literally what I'm doing. And I find that playing on the photo paper really, it's sort of like Yupo paper for alcohol inks. So using the photo paper really gave it some movement, as you can see here especially. And yeah, it was just fun to do. So all I was doing was experimenting, just random colors in random different ways of adding to a background. I still have a lot of these. I really should use them more often. But yeah, it started as just a play. This video was really, really long to start with. But yeah, it was just all play. I just wanted to get out my gloss sprays, have a play, and see how they react and respond to each other. That's the fun thing with these. You really do need to play with them to understand them properly, I think. If this is something that you just had yourself and you just pulled out, I think it would take some getting used to find how they work, and especially if you want to get that resist and that nebula effect when they start reacting with each other and resisting each other. That's the fun part for me. So this is the card base I'm going to have. So when I started this one, that mark in the background is from a stencil. So when I did the marine over the top, the stencil in the aloe resisted that top layer of ink, which gives you that awesome little imprint there that you can see from the stencil. And now I'm going in with some darkroom door stamps to make my card front. So every month Darkroom Door has a Facebook challenge, and it's usually a mood board or something, and in this case it was blues and greens and teals, basically these colours here. And I love doing challenges, I've mentioned in the past, especially when you're feeling the mojo lacking a little bit. And yeah, it's just fun to use some of those products that you might not use often. I tend to do a lot of cards with my darkroom door things, especially with this challenge, because I find that it's the mood board and the colour palette that inspires me the most. And yeah, when working with that, I always find I usually end up doing cards. It's really strange, but You know, I end up with some nice cards that I can send my friends and, you know, just random arty peeps. But yeah, so with the Darkroom Door Challenge, the challenge is to follow the mood board or whatever is up, but to also use Darkroom Door stamps and stencils. So I'm using, I forgot about those. I've used an abstract stamp for my border, and then I've used the grunge set, which I love, and then this arrow set, which I thought would make a great focal point. Now, my archival ink is on its way out. I have just purchased a re-inker so I can ink up my ink pad, because I really do like really bold, dark stamped images, which is why a lot of the time I tend to use paint to give me that nice, bold, dark image, which is actually what I'm going to do here again, because I wasn't happy. I really wanted that bold, dark to stand out. Honestly, I don't think the paint works much better anyway. Must be this stamp. But yeah, so if I really want a dark image, a lot of the time I will use paint on my stamps as opposed to ink. But mostly that is because, like I said, my archival ink pad is drying out a bit. Once I get my re-inker and it's, you know, nice and juicy again, that will probably change, because I do find archival inks work really, really well with their bright, bold colors. I've recently started using the mini colored ones with some of my Scrap Effects foam stamps, and I find that they just stamp beautifully. The colors are bright. You don't get that washed out look. So it probably is just my ink pad. Once I re-ink it, I'll probably be much happier with it. But for the most part, if I'm going to do something black and I want it nice and dark and really noticeable, I'll use paint. And I do that a lot with my foam titles as well. I have some Tim Holtz foam alphabet stamps, and I always use paint with those because I just find it works better. So I'm stamping out, it took me a few goes to get it right. I'm stamping out my chevrons, and this is another Darkroom Door stamp. And then I'm going to cut them out individually and place them on my card front to make my focal point. After all that messing around and finally getting it right, I end up using 2 of the chevrons instead of the 3. And I really do love how this looks. I love the contrast between the black and the white. I did leave a white border because I always find that really helps my focal image pop off from my background. And as you can see, it looks lovely. And yeah, then for my title for my card, I love using word phrase stickers. So I've got the Tim Holtz ones, I've got the Dilutions back chat, I've got my favourite ones lately have actually been the Art by Marlene ones, although I do tend to use them more for art journal pages because I find the quotes are very just suit art journal pages quite nicely. But in this case, I'm just using a Tim Holtz one, and I've just stuck it on the top of my little chevrons, and now I'm going to make my card base. I am not an expert at card bases at all. I don't do cards often, but for the most part, literally all I do is I measure my piece, give it a little bit of a border, cut it down, and then glue my front and then fold it in half. So it's not technical in any way whatsoever, but it works for me. And then I'm just going to use some double-sided tape to adhere down my card front. And that's going to be it for my card. Now, like I said, I don't make cards often, but I get very inspired by the Darkroom Door challenges often to make cards. And this is probably one of my most favourites. I absolutely love this card. I love how it turned out. I love everything about it. The gloss sprays, the Darkroom Door stamps, the resist, everything. I just love how this turned out. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it wasn't too long-winded. It was a very long video, but yeah, I will be back real soon with a new video. So, see you then. Bye for now.